KRS-One, birth name Lawrence Parker, was born on August the 20th, 1965 in Brooklyn, New York. His biological dad was not in his life, so he just had his mother and his brother. Basically, that was his family. His younger brother. His mother got married, and the family moved from Brooklyn to Harlem, and KRS-One suffered physical abuse reportedly from his stepdad at that time in Harlem. So he had an abusive stepfather. His mother finally decided to leave the stepfather, leave that marriage, and she took her two boys to the Bronx. She moved with her two boys to the Bronx. And a year later, she moved back to Brooklyn with her two kids, where she met another man of Jamaican descent. And he was also abusive toward KRS-One, allegedly. So that's caused KRS-One to run away from home several times at his young age. At the age of 16, he left home permanently and was homeless in New York for a short while before signing himself into a group home in the Bronx. In 1984, he left the group home and moved into a homeless shelter in the South Bronx. At the homeless shelter, he met Scott Sterling, aka DJ Scott LaRock, who was a counselor at the homeless shelter. DJ Scott LaRock and KRS-One went on to build a MC and DJ relationship. Adding Derek Jones, known as D-Nice, they formed the rap group Boogie Down Productions. In 1987, they released their debut album called Criminal Minded. Later that year in 1987, DJ Scott LaRock was killed in a shooting attempting to mediate a dispute between fellow group member D-Nice and some local hoodlums. In 1988, Boogie Down Productions, which was basically just KRS-One, although he had help, although he had some assistance from D-Nice and other people, it was basically him. It was his vision, and he basically was a one-man wrecking crew. But he still chose to call himself the whole group name Boogie Down Productions. But in 1988, he released the album By All Means Necessary under the name Boogie Down Productions. In 1989, KRS-One under the heading Boogie Down Productions released the album Ghetto Music, The Blueprint of Hip Hop. Also in 1989, he was the primary initiator behind the Stop the Violence movement and the corresponding song, collaborative song with other rappers, Self-Destruction. In 1990, still under the header of Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One released the album Edutainment. In 1991, KRS-One, as Boogie Down Productions, released the album Live Hardcore Worldwide. Also in 1991, he appeared on alternative rock group REM's single Radio Song. In 1992, he released the album Sex and Violence under the name, as has become a custom, Boogie Down Productions. In 1993, he released the album Return of the Boom Bap. And this is the first time he didn't use the name Boogie Down Productions for the release of the album, but he used his name. So it was him solo, and he finally used his name instead of Boogie Down Productions. So yeah, this was basically his first official solo album, even though, like I said, those albums after DJ Scott LaRock was unfortunately shot to death were all basically KRS-One, but he still released them under the name Boogie Down Productions. But this, in 1993, Return of the Boom Bap was the first one where he put his name on the album totally without putting Boogie Down Productions on it. So, Return of the Boom Bap, 1993. The single called Sound of the Police off of this album got a lot of attention. In 1995, he released the album simply called KRS-One. A song called Free Mamiya got a lot of attention for criticizing civil rights activist C. Dolores Tucker, amongst others. In 1997, he released his best-selling solo album called I Got Next. Which contains the hit single Step Into a World Rapture's Delight. In 1999, he had a song called Five Boroughs, and I'm guessing he was referring to the five boroughs of New York City. But yeah, the song was called Five Boroughs, and it was included on the Corruptor movie soundtrack. In the year 2000, he released the single Return of Hip Hop. Ooh Ooh. In 2001, he released the album The Sneak Attack. In 2002, he released a gospel hip-hop album called Spiritual Minded. In 2003, he released the album Crystals. Also in 2003, he released the album Digital. In 2004, he released the album Keep Right. In 2006, he released the Life album. The Hip Hop Lives album, which was a collab with hip-hop legend Marley Marl, was released in 2007. In 2009, KRS-One collaborated with fellow rapper Buckshot, and they created the album called Survival Skills. A song called Robot was released from this album. KRS-One went on to be featured as the voice of Kris Kringle in the Nike's Most Valuable Puppets commercials. In 2010, he performed at the Rock Against Racism concert. He went on to narrate the 2011 film Rhyme and Punishment. In 2012, he toured Australia for the first time. He actually took a cruise ship to Australia because he hates flying. In 2020, he released his 23rd album called Between the Protests. In 2022, he released his 24th album called I'm an MC, Are You One Too? So he released that in 2022. As you all can see, KRS-One, which stands for Knowledge Reigns Supreme over nearly everyone, is quite prolific in creating music, beats, and rhymes, and his rap. And he is a legend. He is a hip-hop. He is definitely a hip-hop legend, Mr. KRS-One. And I'm pretty sure we haven't heard the last of KRS-One. I'm pretty sure we're going to hear from him in the future, and on and on. And it's going to be good to hear from him and continue to hear from him because, he has a voice and he's not afraid to use it. And I just want to thank KRS-One for all the rhymes and knowledge that he's dropped upon us thus far, and look forward to what he has upcoming for us. And with that, I'm going to end the video right here. please feel free to like, share, and comment on this video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. After subscribing, please click that little notification bell in order to be notified of any new uploads from this channel. Thank you all for your support. I truly appreciate it. And I'm out on this one. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Peace! One love. Stay safe. Continue to be blessed.